Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some Podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Welcome to the show. Man, there is so much happening in our lives. I have to keep a journal. I start writing things down because Jake was like, what are you going to talk about? I was like, I don't know. Let me go to my journal. I don't have a journal.
You mean your Apple Notes? Yeah.
I keep not journal. It's like notes. I have Apple Notes.
Your Apple Notes.
Those are my notes.
That's not a journal. Don't ever call it a journal.
That's modern day, like,
that's my journal.
Notebook. I wouldn't call it a journal. That
your
you're not reflecting.
Your iPhone is not your journal.
That's
ever.
my journal. That's a journal. And man, Jacob Walsh, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Just hanging out. Been in the toy room today, trying to clean up a little bit. Going through. I ended up I have an entire bin over here now, plastic bin, that's full of toys that either need to be opened or put on the shelf. It's just shit I haven't been able to get to yet. It's just like a ton of stuff in here.
It's like a backlog.
A lot of work to be done. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I'm like sitting on top of stuff from Toylanta that's just, I didn't even show it all on Toy Anxiety. So I'm excited to get that like out and then organized on a new shelf like you.
You're going to need some new shelves for sure.
Well, I actually separated. This doesn't even include any of the stuff from Toylanta because all the Toylanta stuff is over here because I separated it because that stuff I have to show off next week on Toy Anxiety. Man. So there's there's the Toylanta haul and then the other stuff that I've gotten throughout the week. And then there's just a bin full of past, toy store runs or the stuff I got when I was up for my birthday, all that other stuff.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Are we still doing it? Hey, you should get a journal. I got the new Journal 14 Pro. It's awesome.
It's got a really good camera.
Yeah, it's got a great camera.
I think that it's a good writing tool.
Abigail, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's been I've been in recovery mode from all the stuff we did over this weekend. It was kind of nonstop, a ton of fun. I missed Jess, missed Jacob, and it was a really special weekend. We got to sit by the fireside and like go buy toys and eat good food. It was a really special time.
It was a classic YHS weekend.
Yeah, it was classic.
Yeah. If people want to know what our ideal time together is, it's buying toys, eating pizza, going to sleep, buying more toys, eating more pizza.
Well, what about
making some posts?
Should we talk about the power outage?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's recount that.
Well, the power went out. So this is what happened. I wish I had some sound effects, but everyone here.
You can add those in.
I can do my scream.
This isn't live.
Some thunder, some lightning. No, so basically what happened is Jacob, your significant partner, other friend, Jess was in town. We all went to your SOPF, your SOPF.
Significant partner, Jess.
She came to town, and we all got together. Well, first we did the Thursday night. We did our first live stream for the Ghostbusters Radio Live on the YHS YouTube. Thank you guys so much for dealing with us and our technical difficulties. It turned out to be really fun.
Oh, they liked it.
They all had a good time. So we're going to be doing that every other week live on the YHS YouTube channel. You'll hear more about it as we go. Jess came in Friday night. We're going to talk about Toylanta, but we had this great weekend, and it was the culmination. The end of the weekend was going to be, we're going to stay in, we're going to find some good food to eat, and then we're going to watch a movie.
Yeah, we talked about what we were going to watch. Like, over the first couple days, we were
planning this film experience.
Basketball was on the docket.
Just regular basketball.
Beverly Hills, yeah.
Yeah. No, basketball, Orgasmo. There was a trend happening.
Yeah.
And Jacob was like, wait, hold on.
Well, I found out that none of you had ever seen Cannibal the Musical, which is insane to me. Yeah. It's insane to me. So we were like, all right, we'll watch this. And Craig, first of all, we have to start. Craig was, for some reason, you're in the mood for Mexican food. You're like pretty adamant that we get some Mexican food. So we were just like, yeah,
you're doing Ken from Street Fighter moves.
What does that mean?
You're doing like basic.
Being a basic?
You just want a basic.
Being pretty
Mexican.
basic. But not only, nothing wrong with Mexican food, but at that point in time at night, there weren't a ton of options.
Not a lot of options.
The local
Sunday
place
night
was the only place. And hey, long story short, food sucked. It kind of always does when we eat at that place.
I usually like mine.
We got to talk about that. We got it out.
I was harassed by the manager
Yeah.
at the place. I was sitting there waiting for the food, and this man ran his hand up my not up my shirt, but near my shoulders, and he was like, "I want to buy you a shot." And I thought what he said was, "I want to buy you some vintage action figures." So I was like, "We're in." No. It was weird. It was like a weird night.
That's not cool.
It wasn't.
Yeah, that's
cool.
what was happening with you at the bar back at the house. I was taking like a little tiny nip nap.
Yeah.
And I woke up to super loud, super bright lightning. Like, I was scared the shit out of me, and I screamed really loud. And then I immediately went into mom mode and checked on Jake and Jess and got some candles lit.
Abby called me. She's like, "Are you okay?"
I was like, "No, are you okay?"
I was in the
Because has the
driveway.
lightning struck you?
So listen, there was pretty bad storms in the southeast over the weekend, and we didn't get it too bad, but it was enough to knock out our power for 3 or 4 hours. Which, if you live in the South this time of year, your house can feel so nice and cool. The second the power goes out, like 3 minutes later, you're the hottest you've ever been in your life. Yeah. So a little bit of a sweat lodge, not fun. Candles were nice though.
But we did.
Yeah, we made the most of it.
Yeah, we made the
We
most
did
of it.
watch Cannibal the musical on an iPad
And it was fine.
before it died.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watched it, we streamed it. Shout out to Tubi.
Shout out to Jake's iPad for him having it.
Shout out
That
to the
was great.
iPad, which was pretty loud, all things considering.
Yeah.
It was good. You know, it was okay.
Although it's so quiet when there's no electricity, there's no air, no, buzzing of electronics or anything else. So we watched it. It was great.
I personally enjoyed it. I related to the guy that just wants to build a snowman. And
Oh, yeah.
has that whole song about him because I'm like, guys, this is great. Like, let's make the most of it.
It was really great, and it is also pretty baffling that I had never seen it because I'm a huge fan of Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I love South Park. I love Orgasmo and Basketball and Book of Mormon. I love everything they've ever done. So, Jacob, thank you for spreading the word. And I was telling before we went on, it's the soundtrack has been on repeat. I've been playing it, singing it, loving it. It's great. And then I went back the entire South Park live concerts on Spotify, so I was listening to some of that.
Oh,
And
That's a good thing if you haven't listened to it and you're a fan.
I didn't know that was on Spotify. I've rewatched it on YouTube a couple times. I didn't know it was on Spotify.
Yeah, so it was fun. Let's talk about Toylanta a little bit. We touched on it a little bit on Toy Anxiety this week, but Jacob, you were off this week. So Toylanta, shout out to them. We were able to get in as press. So little official coverage.
We did it.
We appreciate it. Thank you to Toylanta. New location this year, Jake. I think this is your 5th year. I mean, we've been
Something
going
like
for
that. Yeah, something like that.
New hotel. The kind of the buzz. Well, their buzz. The buzz they put out was that this was a much bigger space, more vendors. My initial thoughts were maybe this wasn't my favorite Toylanta. I mean, it's kind of hard because really what you're ultimately judging is the variety of the vendors, how many there are. But just from like a setup space kind of thing,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go super negative, but my experience was things were kind of weirdly spread out. The hotel was definitely not bigger than the
Seems
previous
smaller
ones.
to me.
It was taller, but
It's
It
a
was
taller
taller.
it
hotel.
was taller, but it still it was much less like actual floor space.
Yeah.
It seemed just as far, if not further away from us.
It was definitely further away.
further away.
Yeah, it's a hall.
Yeah, it did seem smaller. I was kind of baffled by that because I was pretty excited to hear that they had maybe upgraded their space. And one of the things that I think was a little rough at the last couple of years is having so many separate rooms because those small rooms get so crowded.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe this will be one bigger area. But it was kind of the same thing. It was still little rooms, just not as many little rooms. But I agree. It did seem not as big to me.
Not as big. And like usually like the main ballroom is where you have the bulk of your vendors. And it seemed like that area, it wasn't really great vendors. It was kind of weird. Like, also, it was really dim. It was dimly lit. I found myself having trouble, like, kind of seeing almost. Like, usually you go to a convention, a vendor room, It's like big fluorescent lights. Like it's
Some of the annexed rooms were like incredibly hard to see. Like you get your phone out, and yeah, I agree with both of y'all on it being kind of spread out and condensed in a weird, not really a good flowing way.
there was no flow. I mean,
There wasn't much of like a communal hangout space, save the one restaurant in the hotel, which, you know, I give them all the empathy in the world, but it was a tough day.
took a while.
Yeah.
Took a while to get our food. No big deal. Tough day.
Tough day.
Now the first room we went into, which was like the secondary big room, that ended up being where we bought the bulk of our items.
Yeah, I think that probably had the best selection of YHS specific stuff.
You're talking about the double Kraken room?
Double
Kraken.
Kraken.
Yep.
Double Kraken, okay.
But really, it's kind of hard because what we've talked about this before. What makes a great toy show? And it's like lots of vendors, lots of variety, right? And there was a decent amount of vendors. It wasn't like, oh, everyone just has Funko Pops, but there was a lot of people that just had, it was kind of crappy at times. Like, it was like, oh, this isn't really great stuff. And then the good stuff, the pricing, ooh. Can we talk about the price of vintage toys these days?
Let's do it.
Some of the pricing was all over the place, and especially, there were a lot of Krakens there, and I want a Kraken. It's on my list. There were a couple vendors that had vintage Clash of the Titan figures, which you don't see very often. They were all so overpriced. I would have bought one. I would have bought one. They were all, it was like premium prices for not complete figures, which is weird.
Yeah, well, there's that whole thing. I mean, we ended up going to shout out to Second Chance Toys.
Oh yeah,
Marietta, Georgia, where I honestly had more fun there, I think, than at the toy show.
That experience made Toylanta, and it wasn't even an on-site event. That was like definitely like an after-party type of deal.
Yeah, they do a thing where during Toylanta, they're the best vintage toy store in Atlanta, one of the only ones, honestly, and they stay open till midnight. And we went, we hung out. I bought toys, bought Star Wars stuff. Pixel Dan was there. Shout out to Pixel Dan. Hung out, talked with him for a while. Great guy.
Yeah.
And
being there like late at night was really fun. Like I noted
we
the
went
drive
on a
up
snack
there.
run.
Yeah, we went to Quick Trip. Like I felt like a teenager again. Like driving up in Marietta.
Dude,
to,
I just remember those
go
teenage
to the venue.
years. Remember being
that is where I grew up, so it is kind of nice to have that like recreation with you guys.
Go out with
and
your
yeah,
friends.
we got Quick Trip, we got snacks, we came back. I was sitting on the floor digging through bins.
It's great.
It's a lot of fun.
But yeah,
I mean, I did buy a lot of stuff at Toylanta. I bought a lot of stuff. I did spend a lot of money there, but one of the things is like, so two different vendors that were close to each other had Knickerbocker Lord of the Rings stuff, which I wanted. One guy had 2 figures, and then another guy had a 3rd figure. So I bought these 2 from the first guy at pretty decent prices. They're not complete. They're missing like their swords or whatever, but that stuff's hard to find. I overpaid for the 3rd one, kind of by a lot, I think, especially compared to the other ones. But it was like, I've never seen this before. Do I overpay for it because it's here in person and buy it? Or do I try to wait and find this online and order it? I just bought it because I wanted it, and I had just bought the other 2. But their prices were so different from each other.
Yeah.
And it felt like that was a booth-to-booth thing with stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. As far as at Toylanta, I picked up a couple random things, got a couple Superpowers figures. I did get some loose Street Fighter G.I. Joe figures. No major, playset purchases. Although I found a Hall of Justice. One booth had, the box was completely beat up. This is the thing that drives me crazy. The box is beat up. It has sealed contents on the inside. Okay, so it's new, but not really. They wanted $800 for it. I'm like, guys, this playset complete is $200 on eBay. Like, this shitty box and the fact that the stuff is in plastic, there's not a $600 upcharge. I think there's a little bit of a, during the pandemic, prices on all toys, especially vintage stuff, went to like an all-time high. And I think it's going to be really hard for a lot of the dealers to kind of come back down to earth a little bit. But I'm not going to, I'm going to try my best to not overpay. Like, I don't mind supporting a local dealer versus going to like eBay or something like that, but I'm not going to spend $800 on something I could get for
Yeah.
Maybe if it was $300, I would consider it.
I mean, and not to keep talking about Clash of the Titans, but we saw 3 different Krakens. One guy, I didn't get a price on one of them. One guy didn't even ask his price. But I saw an $800 Kraken. Then I saw a $1,200 Kraken. They're the exact same toy. One of them didn't have a box with it. It's the exact same thing. Both of them overpriced. Like even the $800. You know, if you look at eBay sales, a Kraken has sold on eBay in the same condition pretty recently for half that, for like $400. Like it's like, why are you selling this for $1,200?
Is that just like to test so people will barter down? Like where they
just
if
because
they were...
people, yeah. It's either that or people he just thinks it's rarer than it is. You know?
Well, that's what I asked. We were on the phone earlier, dude. Like, and I've said this to Abby recently too. Like, you run into this with vintage Star Wars figures, like the last 17, right? The rare last 17 figures. They're so rare and they're so expensive. You know, the A-Wing fighters, $300, and General Lando, $350. These things are quote unquote rare. I see them everywhere. Every booth had 7 or 8 of the last 17 figures. So are they really that rare? Maybe there's less of them than like Bespin Luke. But even like the prices on the regular Star Wars figures that are like $60, $70, I'm like, they made 1 million Luke Skywalkers in 1977. Maybe 10 million.
The prices seem really arbitrary. Like I've been buying a little bit of vintage Star Wars in the last few weeks, and I bought like 5 from Second Chance Toys a month ago. And then over the weekend, I bought 4 more from the toy show and 2 more from Second Chance Toys. And I'm looking at them, and you know, you look at them and I'm like, I see 0 visible differences between these 2 toys. This one's $28. This one's $67. And then it's like, I got all my toys home and I'm taking the stickers off of them. And the prices are just it's like, okay, I paid $20 for this one. I paid $32 for this one. I paid $68 for this. Why?
Right.
I don't know. It's like,
I wanted it, right.
The prices are so weird and so all over the place.
Yeah, it's like a weird market of adjusting. Because, during quarantine years, it was like, you know, prices were being run up. That's what we've said. And I know I was looking at my phone like exactly a year ago. I think 2 days ago, we did our first eBay hang. And I think that like scarcity maybe made the price go up for people, and like it was just finally like, oh yes, we can actually buy toys in person or whatever.
How funny would it be? I would love to show this episode to us from 6 years ago.
I would be so mad at myself for buying vintage Star Wars.
You would be mad for buying vintage Star Wars?
I like Star Wars.
My favorite sentence so far is not to keep bringing up Clash of the Titans. It's just a funny sentence. But the fact that I said pandemic prices and Abby is like, well, you know, during quarantine, we would be watching this going, what happened? What are they referencing?
Is there a war?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I'd be proud of myself for finally buying this.
Yes. As we are proud of you, Jacob.
The Ewok family hut.
Mm-hmm.
This is a beautiful...
Couple big moments in your son's life, and this is one of them.
Smell it.
Doesn't smell great.
Smells weird.
Well, it smells old. I know we'll talk about that on Toy Anxiety too, but that's like a grail piece for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Been wanting it for a while. I got a couple more. I got a couple more pieces in that preschool line, and I'll have most of it. Or I already have most of it, but I'm almost done with it.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd be happy if I were looking back and if I saw this.
That giant Batman and Robin coloring book. I love that though.
Yeah, I do too.
There's
I
a funny
y'all's little bit on it on the video we put out.
Hey, also, if you haven't seen, we did put up a video from Toylanta. There's a really funny moment where Abby and Jacob are digging through bins, and Abby goes, "Hey, do you have the Alicia Silverstone figure?" And Jacob's like, "You always start your collection with the Alicia Silverstone."
Of course,
it's true though. That is the first like Batman toy I've bought since I was a child. Was
so funny.
That.
We've probably talked more shit about DC and Star Wars on the show than anything in its entire 7-year run, and all we're doing is buying Star Wars and Batman toys.
Yeah,
I bought a bunch of loose Batman at the show.
You did. I got a little Two-Face.
You got a little Two-Face?
Yeah.
A little Harvey Dent. Hey, God, I'm gonna get shut out for saying this. There's rumors that Harvey Dent might be in the Joker sequel.
Okay.
I'm so excited for
Todd
that
Phillips
movie.
sequel.
Yes.
Okay.
Who do you think's? Are you asking who's going to be Two-Face?
Oh God, I don't even know. Hopefully Bradley Cooper. It's a musical. It's a reunion. Bradley
I could
Cooper.
see that. Yeah, I could see him having that seedy side.
I'm trying to think who else from the Todd.
Villainous.
Well, Todd Phillips made Road Trip, so maybe it'll be Tom Green.
That's interesting.
That would reel me back in.
Yeah.
He's like,
Watch him knock it out of the park and be like, he'll have his Brendan Fraser moment.
Hey,
and the award for Best Supporting Actor.
What?
Nobody's having a Brendan Fraser moment in the Joker sequel.
Oh man,
Nobody.
maybe Brendan Fraser will be in it as the whale, as a villain. You don't know. No,
Okay.
you do. You
Penguin?
do. The whale. That's so dumb.
Yeah,
I love it.
so good.
So anyways, toys are great. We had fun. We ended up going back. We went there for 2 days. We didn't go for the third day, but yeah, we all still
On the third day we rested.
we much like that other guy.
Actually, that's the third day he rose, not rested. So
Oh,
probably
right.
get
Dark
it.
Knight Rises.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
gotcha.
it is. After Bane broke his back.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I complain about one more thing about the toy show?
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Don't put Jesus pamphlets in my bags.
Oh, yeah,
I
what's
don't
up with
like.
that?
I don't like coming home from a toy show and 2 or 3 of my bags have these little "You're going to hell" pamphlets in them. Get a fucking figure out a different way to do. That's bullshit. I don't care.
not
I don't
working.
want that. No, I don't want that.
The pamphlet I found, it was like
Proselytizing,
there was
I'm
like
not a fan.
there was little kids on it, and it was like this girl at school told me about this guy named Jesus. It was like, what is this? This is so dumb.
Simple stuff for
It's like shit made in the
simple minds.
70s or something.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly. It is technically vintage, so I wonder if he's like, "Hey, have this rare pamphlet for
I don't know.
testimonial or whatever."
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either of those things. Never have been. I got my reasons.
Yeah, but listen, everyone, you have the right to be religious, but like I'm buying something from you. Don't force it on me.
Hey, next year when we go, I'm gonna print out like worship the devil pamphlets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a bunch, and as soon as if I buy something from a seller and one of those is in the bag, I'm gonna drop a handful of them on their table, spread them out so people can pick them up and
Dude,
Yeah.
go
put
in
David
the other
Putty.
way.
Put David Putty with his face paint on.
Yeah.
The devil.
I want that shirt. Okay.
Nobody mess with the devil. Well, there's 2 funny David Putty.
Have
There's
you
when
seen this devil?
listen, yeah, when he's got the face paint on at the hockey game and he gets in the priest's face and he's like El Diablo.
Yeah.
Like it's like the priest from The Exorcist kind of. But then there's the one where Elaine finds out that David's religious,
Yeah,
which is
because there's music in his car. She's driving.
yeah,
his
he keeps
car,
putting on the.
the station.
It'll only feel like an eternity.
He's like, "What do you care? You're going to hell."
Yeah. Oh, about stealing the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, good shit. Good fun at the toy show. We also went to the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta, which do we take it for granted?
It's a hidden gem.
That
Like
is-
it's a national treasure that is close to our house, and it's it's just really impressive when you walk in there.
Yeah, it has a
Like-
huge history with Jim Henson. And in 2015, the Henson family donated an incredible amount of puppets and Muppets, Sesame Street characters, the Dark
Fraggle
Crystal,
Rock.
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Now the
Labyrinth.
Dark Crystal. That's supposed to be a temporary exhibit, but it's been there for years. So I don't know if
There's
it'll always
not
be
a
there.
ton of. There's not a ton of. There's Dark Crystal and Labyrinth stuff. Not a ton of it, but it's sprinkled in there.
Right, but that was your first time there. What'd you think?
I loved it. I can't believe we haven't been there before.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something we would have gone. I know you guys have been before, but no, it was cool. It's just cool seeing all those Muppets. It made me like, literally, we got out of there. I got on eBay and I'm like looking all this Muppet stuff up, and it's like, we talk about the Muppets a lot, and
Yeah.
there's been multiple times where we've talked about buying getting into Muppet figures and stuff like that. But going there really made me be like, okay, what's available? What's on eBay? Let me look up some old Muppet stuff. But yeah, that place was cool. It feels like special going in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's inspirational because like the way that Jim Henson and like his troupe of people working together, it's very inspiring to see creative people coming together like that and forming basically a family, and that being kind of the the thoroughfare, like the sort of the heartbeat of Muppet movies is like, it's just us. We're weird and we're friends and we make up our own space. I think it's really cool.
So we're Muppets.
Yeah.
We're weird and we're friends.
You want there to be more in there. Like you get done and you're like, oh man, I want there to be more.
Yeah, it's like you're sad that it's over.
I get and it's cool. There's like you should totally go there if you're ever in Atlanta. It's like $15. They've got the whole history of the Muppets where they started coming up through the 60s and 70s. And then they've got almost everybody you'd want to see. Almost.
They could have more. It'd be great if there's more, but Kermit's in there, Piggy's in there, like, there's a Big Bird, Bert and Ernie, Cookie Monster, like everybody's in there. Like it's good.
Yeah. Could we use Gonzo? Could we use Animal? Probably.
Sure.
But maybe you get a lot of good stuff.
They'll get in there one day.
Yeah. Well, Animal's at Guitar Center.
And hopefully we'll be part of like the installment somehow.
They're going to ask us to do it.
Jacob Walsh, Gonzo fanatic.
Cutting the...
Yeah.
Get the scissors.
You cut the ribbon. The last time they did a ribbon ceremony.
You light the cannon fuse.
Shoot Gonzo from the parking lot into the museum.
Yeah.
Hey, now that...
I want to have a Gonzo launch. That's
that would be
cool.
funny. Yeah, that was great. A lot of fun. So ultimately... just a really fun weekend. We'll have to do that again sometime. I love toy shows. I'm getting itchy. We've talked about going to one of these big national toy shows, whether it's the Chicago one or Cincinnati. Man, I just want like $20,000 in time at a toy show by myself. That's what I need. Yeah. Well, with you guys, no other people though.
I would like to go to one in a different part of the country, like you're saying, just to mix it up. Because I know we're complaining about seeing the same dealers, but you and I, Craig, been going to Toylanta for like 10 years at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it would be awesome if they mixed it up more. But I'd love to be in a part of the country, though, where it's all new stuff.
In June, I think I'm going to go to Joe Fest in Augusta, which it's more G.I. Joe focused, but still lots of toy dealers. And... man, people flying all the way from Australia for that one.
That sounds, you know what? They have a VHS store in Augusta. We've been there. I'd go.
Oh, man. Anyways. Well, cool. Good times. Good seeing some YHS listeners, Toy Anxiety watchers. Good hanging out with Pixel Dan. And shout out again to Chance at Second Chance Store. Mm-hmm. Second Chance Toys, not Second Chance Store. Second Chance Store. That's just a thrift store. So let's, we talked earlier about the Ghostbusters show that we did. So we will be deep diving into all of the Ghostbusters news that is coming our way every other week on the YouTube channel. But we should touch on the casting news that came out this week, at least acknowledge it, that we heard about. Did you guys hear about it? I don't know if you heard about it.
I did. It happened. It happened the day after we did our stream.
Conveniently the day after we speculated. Are we talking about our reactions? Because I'm willing to say how I felt.
Are you willing to say how you felt?
I'm willing to say that I was really excited to hear the news. The first thing I did was text my brother, who's a huge Patton Oswalt fan, and we talked about it. And I was like, personally, I felt like this was the thing I texted to him. I was like, this is a win for us, like, because that's what it feels like.
Yes.
But I'm an admin also on our Facebook page, so I see some of the other people's thoughts out there in the internet world.
Are those even real people?
I don't know. I don't understand that. It seems like a very minor, like, isolated backlash of people. But it wouldn't be Ghostbusters if we didn't have something like that go on.
I wonder what it is.
How are y'all feeling?
What are these people looking for? They don't want women. They don't want kids. They don't want liberals. What do they like? They're looking for. I think
what they want has nothing to do with movies. They're just
to stand on.
Yeah, like it's just to
their
attention.
ideal. They're
anything
like
to attach their feelings too.
Breaking news: Ghostbusters casting Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo to lead the team through the streets of New York.
Yes.
Oh man.
Cara Dune. What's her name?
Gina Carano. Now that would be a Ghostbuster.
It's Janine. How many people? That would make a lot of people happy.
Are we gonna just piss people off? Who cares?
Those people aren't listening.
Patton Oswalt, Kumail Nanjiani, James A. Castor, and Emily Aylin Lind. Now, James A. Castor is a podcaster and comedian. He's British. Don't know much about him, but I have listened to his podcast before. He had on Jason Reitman a couple years back. He has a food podcast. And I want to say he had Dan Aykroyd on an episode once too, where they basically have a celebrity guest on and have them describe their perfect evening of food and describe every course and all. But it's funny, like it's him and another comedian. It's if it's the same one, the Dan Aykroyd one is very much worth listening to because he goes into incredible detail, including the location of this dinner and the guest list.
There's a guest list. Okay.
There's a guest list. He's like, of course, my old collaborator Bill Murray. I mean, he's the greatest leading man in comedy history.
Playlist.
We'd have him in there, and he'd probably enjoy some stone crab lobsters and just crab lobsters. I'm making up food now. So James A. Castor and this actress Emily Aylin Lind, who I guess she's in Dr. Sleep, right?
Snake Bite Andy.
I've only seen that movie once, so I'll defer to Jacob. How is she in that movie? I don't remember.
She's great in it. She's got a good little like kind of B plot that goes on. She joins the Knot, the like group of energy vampire people, and she's the one who has the scene at the Plaza Theater.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Exactly, where she like kills a predator, which is awesome. And I feel like her character in the movie might have been reduced a little bit from how big it was in the
just
book.
To clarify, not the Predator.
No.
She doesn't kill the Predator.
No, this is a different franchise. But I loved her in the movie, Jake, and I think I really liked the character in the book a lot, so it'll be interesting to see her again performing. Yeah.
For sure. And the thing is like casting, like let's bring people down to earth a little bit. I happen to really like Patton Oswalt. I like Kumail. His movie The Big Sick that he's in and I think him and his wife wrote from 5 or 6 years ago is phenomenal. If you haven't seen The Big Sick, go seek it out. And I know everyone wants to talk about the Eternals, but it's like, listen, the Eternals is a movie with 20 people in it, and it wasn't great. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it is what it is. So, but he was an Obi-Wan. He's a stand-up comedian. Patton Oswalt's been around forever. He's done. I mean, we don't need to explain to you who Patton Oswalt is, but I think the thing that strikes me is everybody just jumps to conclusions. Like, we don't know. Is this the new team? We don't know. This could be
couple of villains. Who knows?
Like we just don't know. And we can speculate. We can use context clues and all of that. But it's almost like people, Jake. What is it? We survived.
Oh, it's called stupidity. That's what it's called.
Okay.
It's weird how people want to be like just like you said. Oh, this is the new team. Is he playing Oscar? Like all this kind of weird dumb shit. Like people jump right to it. There's already that we know of. There's already like I don't know 5 other people who've been Ghostbusters before that are cast in this movie. Like I don't think we're getting a movie with like 15 people being Ghostbusters just because they're in it. Could be any. It could be any part. I don't know. Maybe one of them's a Ghostbuster. Maybe 2 of them. Maybe who knows? We just casting alone isn't basis for any kind of speculation other than knowing they might be voicing ghosts for all we fucking know. Who knows?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing to keep in mind is like we actually don't know anything about this movie, right? We didn't know anything about Afterlife, and all we know is that they're going to go back to the firehouse.
We know it's being filmed.
We know that they're filming it right now. Shout out to the production team. Hope you're having a great time.
Chugging along. Way to go.
Could it be a new team that has reformed? Sure. Could it be an old team? Maybe
Mix of old and new.
Maybe it's a mix of old and new. Maybe this is the team from the mid-90s when the Ghostbusters were struggling and they got sucked into the containment unit and they've been stuck there ever since. I don't know. We're going to find out eventually. So I think people jump to conclusions. I don't have any, this is fun casting for me, but we also, here's Jacob, you're right. We know Finn Wolfhard and Logan Kim, McKenna Gray, Celeste O'Connor, Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, probably Dan Aykroyd, definitely Ernie Hudson, probably Bill Murray. Like there's a lot of people already involved in this movie.
There's a lot of Ghostbusters already in this film.
Right. So
yeah,
there was a quote today, Ab. Kumail did an interview with somewhere, and they actually asked him about Ghostbusters, and he actually had a quote that was probably worth mentioning. He said, "Can't really say very much about the character except something about my appearance is different in it," and then teasing that he really does move the world forward quite a bit. So yeah, I don't believe Kumail. It doesn't sound like he's going to be like a professor at Columbia who becomes a Ghostbuster. And everybody goes to that because that's what we've seen.
Because every time it's like, let's recast the 4 guys. And that's not necessary.
Sure.
My money would be on that he's a villain. That's what I was thinking.
Now, what I wanted, people have been speculating about this movie that there could be a portion of the film that, and this is pure speculation, there's nothing to go off, but that a portion of the film could take place inside like the world of the containment unit. And
that's what I'm saying, where you have a multiverse like unfolding kind of.
What I think the best role for
or at least
Kumail,
different timelines, sorry.
I want him to be a ghost that's been stuck in the containment unit since 1984, and he acts as the tour guide for all the new ghosts. He like introduces everybody to like, this is where you hang. These are the different groups. These are the cliques. Don't hang with this guy. Hang with this. I don't know. Like, who knows? Like, it's all just made up at this point. But it's exciting that it's happening.
I heard that. I heard in a pretty. This was in a leak, and I think it's it's probably pretty likely. But I heard the film is like a Slimer origin film. Patton Oswalt is that he plays Slimer when he was a human.
Yes, and it's written by
Donald Onionhead.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, they might be using the Max Landis script with the Slimer origin story.
How dare you?
No, do not start that.
Hey, here's another thing. I've seen this comment on Facebook. People going, "Hey, are they going to be using Dan Aykroyd's Hellbent script?" What makes a human?
No.
What makes a human being say that out loud, Jake?
I think you know my answer. Stupidity.
Oh. Yeah, let's go ahead and no, Patton Oswalt will not be playing Oscar. Oscar is about 35 years old. Patton Oswalt's about 60. Now, here was my theory. Could James A. Castor be playing Oscar? Hear me out. He's 38 in real life. Age rage works. We know that Oscar's father took a job.
Age rage.
He's got a bit of age rage.
Got age rage. We know that Oscar's, Ivan would always say that, well, I think Bill Murray's Oscar's real dad. He's not. He's just not. Oscar's dad.
Hey, there's room for a twist. We don't know.
Well, there's room for a twist, but there's room for my theory. Oscar's dad took a job. What did she say? What's the line in GB2? He got a great offer in Europe, and he ditched her and moved to England, whatever. Yeah. After the events of Ghostbusters 2, Dana is worried about Oscar. He grows up. He's a little weird. You would be weird if you go through. If a painting abducted you, and tried to take over your body, there's side effects, is what I'm saying. Oscar at some point moves to England to live with his dad. And that's where he gets his British accent. And he comes back. And now he wants to be a Ghostbuster.
Hey, boom. Would it be funny if Oscar is in this movie and a side effect from Ghostbusters 2 is that Vigo is still inside of him? And it's like he has a split personality thing, but like half the time he's Vigo. It's Vigo's voice coming out of.
Hey, this sounds like a Farrelly Brothers movie that they wouldn't be able to make anymore.
Yeah.
Split decision. Half the time he's up-and-coming college student, Oscar Barrett. The other half?
He's on a throne of skulls.
Listen, we're going to have so much fun over the next year or whatever it is. I mean, it's still supposed to come out December 20th this year. Who knows? Maybe they'll make that date. Maybe this is going to be a really fast filming ramp up and release. But whatever the time period is, it's going to be a lot of fun speculating. We know that they got cookies.
It's not news. We know
I was just about to say, I'm like under the table getting the scraps.
Kumail
Cookies
showed
is
off
not news.
but it's so Ghostbusters, and I love that. I've had a Ghostbusters cookie at Ghost Corp
And it was big news.
I thought it was big news. It was delicious.
I remember it. It was really good. I saved napkins from that event.
Yeah, it's just going to be fun. So not a whole lot to say other than 4 new cast members, 4 very, diverse talents, different ages. I think the youngest now. Oh, last prediction. Please let me do it. Please. The actress from Dr. Sleep. What was her name again? I'm going to say it.
I don't remember.
She's also in this Yellow Jackets. Nope, wrong person. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. James A. Castor. Okay, the actress's name, Emily Aylan Lind. What if, hear me out, what if she's playing like a love interest of maybe Celeste O'Connor? And Trevor's really excited because Lucky's coming to New York, and Trevor's like,
we had that summer love.
And Trevor's, she shows up with this other girl, and like Trevor's third wheel in it. I would love that.
That's
I don't
possible,
care.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be like. I don't care if he's not a Ghostbuster at all. I would just want a side plot of a night in New York where Trevor is having to try to play it cool while like kind of having his heart broken.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him do that on Stranger Things to some degree, like
Yeah.
wearing his heart on his sleeve.
It's Trevor.
Yeah, I could see that. And I feel like in Afterlife, he wasn't established as like a heartthrob character. He was kind of like a goof a little bit. Like he likes cars. He doesn't really know how to talk to girls. Like
He's a goof.
yeah, I could see him being.
Hey,
kind
he
of
still doesn't know how to
like
talk
that.
to girls. That scene in the jail, Lucky. It's so funny.
I bet real Finn Wolfhard does. I imagine he can talk.
Okay, last prediction.
Chick.
Jake's like, I don't know. Last prediction. Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon. They're in it. Are they Ghostbusters? Is Paul Rudd a Ghostbuster this time? You think so?
Sure, Paul Rudd maybe.
Yeah, I bet he's like
He
a
has all the makings of a Ghostbuster.
yeah he's
He
like
does.
Dad Ghostbuster. He's taking care of everybody.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to be covering GB a lot over the next, for the rest of our lives. What am I saying? Forever. till we shed this mortal coil and go to the afterlife.
And then hopefully for the 8 minutes after.
Oh yeah,
where our brains are still working.
Yeah, that's like the post credits.
the post-credits scene. It's just Bill Murray being shocked by Sigourney Weaver. Hey, I watched that scene the other day because sometimes I forget that it exists. It's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is so cool. Okay, let's should we talk about Mandalorian?
I guess.
Yeah, let's cover it. Let's cover
We
it.
told them we would.
Well, here's the deal. You probably noticed we didn't do mandatory Mando last week, or maybe you didn't notice, and that's probably why we're not doing it. We love Star Wars. We love The Mandalorian. Look, Star Wars Celebrations next week. They're probably going to announce some new movies. It's going to be fun to talk about and speculate. I think overall there seems to be it's not just us. I'm seeing this in a lot of places. There's something off about this show. Let's just in general. There's something off about season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Someone tell me because I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good anymore. It's weird.
It doesn't feel like pure Filoni.
It's got pockets of goodness within it.
Sorry, hold on. It's Dave Filoni.
What did you say?
I said pure.
She
It's
said
not
pure
pure,
Filoni.
unfiltered Filoni.
Okay, David Filoni. Sorry, Jake.
I was just
I
saying
always get them mixed up. Sorry.
it's got like pockets of goodness in it, but it feels really weird. The Mandalorian's kind of barely in it. This last episode kind of didn't have Grogu in it at all.
It's
It
weird.
feels like it's all over the place. It feels like it's a soap. There's the first half of this episode. I was like, why does this feel like I'm watching a soap opera? The writing's weird. The dialogue's weird. The setup looks it looks like the director said, you stand here, you stand here. We're going to film right in front of, it's like none of it looks like it's being made by actual filmmakers anymore. I'm like, I just don't know. It all feels confusing and jumbled up. Like maybe they had 10 really awesome ideas and they just threw them up in the air, and however they landed, they're just like, that's our episode this week.
Yeah. I mean, he's talking about the most recent episode, which aired this week. Well,
The Pirate.
There was some stuff in there I really liked, like a lot. I think the action sequences this year have been really great. Like any of the N1 stuff or Bo-Katan on her ship, all that stuff looks really good. I liked all the pirate stuff. What's the new head pirate's name? Well, I think he's dead now, but spoilers.
Gorian Shand.
Gorian Shar, whatever his name is.
He's dead. Hey, there goes those rumors that the pirates were going to be in whatever that other show is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Skeleton Crew.
They're all dead now.
That bums me out because that was the coolest character design I've seen.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe they'll return as ghost pirates, and then they could be like, "You best stop believing in ghost stories."
Well, the one really annoying pirate with all the dumb one-liners, he's gone. He left.
Right. Oh yeah. One of them bailed.
But all the other pirates are dead.
I was talking to Ryan Dole about this today. He's like, "Did you notice the one little pirate looked and sounded just like Smee?" And I was like, he really did.
The one that looks like
Ugnaught.
Kuil?
Yeah, the Kuil, the Ugnaught. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Ugnaught.
Ugnaught.
Abby was asking me. Abby picked up the Ugnaught vintage figure the other day. What she's like, what are these guys called? It was escaping me until just now. The Ugnaught.
Yeah.
Listen, Paul Sung-Young Lee, friend of the podcast.
Highlight.
Love seeing Carson Taylor.
He's
I love
great.
it.
Carson Taylor.
I would watch a whole show. I would watch a show of that. I liked all of his stuff. Was great.
And also, I want to wear a bomber jacket over
he looks
flight
great.
suit.
He looks great in a bomber jacket. He's
I feel like Hal Clay's probably already made that whole jacket, has all the patches.
He owns it. Yeah. That was Hal's.
There's the story that they're weaving is interesting, but I just gotta say, I just don't care about these Mandalorians. Get to the rebels. I like the Mandalorian. I like Din, and I love his story with Grogu. But the rebuilding the Mandalorian culture and the recruiting of other tribes, they all seem stupid. They act dumb all the time.
Well, listen, I want to say this because we didn't have the episode last week or whatever. But in last week's episode, whenever they're all sitting down, so Bo-Katan has got her helmet back on. And she's keeping it on. She's like, you know what? I'm running with this.
Yeah.
They all sit down to eat. And Bo-Katan is like, hey, how do I eat and not take my helmet off? And Din is like, oh, well, just walk somewhere where nobody can see you. Everybody walks to their own little spot. And then take your helmet off and eat alone. And I was like, hey, the Mandalorians are a bunch of dummies. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If they all have to hide away so they can eat their food and I was like, that's the dumbest shit
It's almost as dumb as
yeah, dude.
Yeah, you could murder someone, but then you just go in that little box right there, and then there's a priest on the other side, and you just be like, hey, I murdered someone.
That's what I was going to say. It's that exact mentality. It's cult-like.
Listen, I'm Catholic. Or Jewish. I don't know. I'm both.
You're not.
You are what? You are going to edit that out. Is what you are.
Listen, I'm a devout Catholic now. I've been learning all the rules. No.
It's that easy, Craig. By the way, but
just say it.
You can.
What I'm saying is, religions and cult, there's weird practices that make zero sense. I'm not Catholic, by the way.
It's also weird to me how last week Bo-Katan tried to tell the armor that she saw the mythosaur, and she's like, oh yeah, seeing a vision's great. And she's like, no, I saw it. And she was like, cool, sure you did. Go your own way. You're wearing your helmet now. And then this week she's like, take your helmet off. You can do whatever you want because you saw the mythosaur. And it's like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Also, I thought the armorer was going to take off her helmet and be like, this is kind of stupid. It's hot as fuck. Let's not wear these helmets.
Yeah, I feel like she's kind of cranky and pretentious because she's just hot. Underneath all that.
And listen,
and adhering to like a strict code or a creed can be really fucking tiring.
The problem is, listen, was I stoked about that Zeb cameo? Sure, it's cool. First time you ever saw an animated character.
I didn't even know who that was.
Right,
I didn't even fucking know who it was. I was like,
I recognize the voice.
But what I'm saying is, you can't get to a point where like the 5-second cameo from a character, it's you're just asking for the fucking Leonardo DiCaprio memes from whatever.
Cheersing, pointing.
Yeah, what's that movie called? Once Upon a Time in America.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah. Once Upon a Time in America. That's a
Once Upon a Time in Mos Espa.
Yeah, but it's like, oh yeah, look, it's that guy. That's cool, but that shouldn't be the best part of the episode. Now, the end, it's 6 episodes in, and or 5 episodes in, and they're like, okay, somebody broke out Moff Gideon, and who did it? There's Beskar. Okay, whatever. I'm sure next week's episode, I have a feeling next week's episode is going to be the best episode of the season because
there's just some weird, I want to at least bring attention to one of the weird moments, which you, Craig, said felt like Star Trek, but like when the people of Navarro assemble outside of the city after it's been under attack, there's only like 15 or 20. Like it feels like not a whole city, and the negotiations of it are a very Star Trek plot line.
There's also, if you watch the scenes where the city's being torpedoed, there are scenes where half of the townspeople are like running for their lives, but then there's like a group of people over here and they're still like having the conversation, and I was like,
these guys trying to serve food.
Do these extras not know that they're supposed to be running? It's very weird.
Yeah, it feels like the others on Lost kind of thing, and when you're seeing that amassment of them, I remember just feeling like this is a little bit not impressive.
More than anything, I wish I was watching like a workplace comedy between Paul and Tim Meadows. Like,
the ladies' man.
If you gave me like a imperial workplace comedy where Paul's the straight man and he's trying to figure out what's happening, but everyone else are just dumb idiots and Tim Meadows is being funny, that's a better show.
So
100%.
I thought it would be funny. I didn't realize this. So when he's in the bar at the beginning, I didn't realize that like Dave Filoni's in the background, like all the other pilots that have been like directors. I was like, just give me like an episode of Cheers where they're sitting around at this bar.
They say each other's names when they come in.
Yeah. Oh, Carson, hey. And then I was like, wait, that one guy from Cheers was in Star Wars. And then I was like, they put him in there. And I was like, oh, he's dead. But deep fake something. Come on. I don't know.
I feel like we're past the deeply important episodes and like the really character driven stuff and the things that make us like wanting more, like the big cliffhangers and such.
Pedro's not in the show. Just want to let
he's
everybody know.
He's just not. And to me, that's a huge, huge waste.
He was filming The Last of Us during this, and for
you can tell. That's it. You can tell.
Bo, the 2 best episodes of The Mandalorian so far this season happened in Book of Boba Fett, and for whatever reason, Din and Grogu's story feels like it's being pushed aside. Now, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to get an Ahsoka Rebels type episode coming up very soon. It's coming. It's probably
how
next
many
week.
How many episodes are there?
I think there's only 3 left.
Well, then.
Yeah, we have to be.
You think they're going to do that? You think they're still going to cut away and give us?
Hey, if they don't give me some goddamn Luke Skywalker, you have set the bar. I need a Luke episode. Give me my Luke. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah, we know you can do it.
I'd rather see that. I'd rather see Luke training Grogu than Din training Grogu.
I mean, listen. Here's the problem. Here's what I think the problem is. Bo-Katan, cool character. Mandalorian's cool character. But at the end of the day, or cool characters, at the end of the day, let me say it one more time to make it really. At the end of the day, this story should have been Grogu training, Mando trying to move on, and then the second half of the story is Mando facing an uphill battle to get back to Grogu, and then having an awesome team up episode. And then the last scene of this season should have been Grogu having to make the choice of, do I want to be a Mando or do I take Yoda's lightsaber?
It's unfair, yeah, because the last season ended with that. And it was Grogu's choice that was like the
But that was on Book
factor.
of Boba Fett.
Well, I
yes.
think but I think a little bit of like having the armorer tell the other Mandalorians that Bo is one that walks both worlds. That's clearly gonna tie into Grogu also being one who walks both worlds, and he's going to be a Mandalorian Jedi at some point.
Well, he'll walk both worlds if his giant medallion isn't holding him down. His Beskar.
Yeah.
His button. It's like I feel like they should have wrote on it like, first time at Disney. It's like one of those buttons. They give you.
Yes.
First time at Mandalorian Beskar forging camp.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
That's
Listen,
really funny.
the first time you ever saw the armor forging Mandalorian weapons, it was really cool. By the time it's the 9th time, and
she sounds like Bane.
I'm seeing the liquid go into the mold, and I'm just like, guys, what are we doing here? I saw the episode's only 33 minutes. We
have emotional investment in Grogu and Din and their relationship, and how much he cares for Grogu, and how Grogu is actually like a more ascended being than he is mentally, and his like looks out for him, but then how he's also learning, and the thoughts that are going on in Grogu's head and like where he's going are so much more important to me than like what the big gang of Mandalorians are, where they're gonna hide.
Sure, and the other thing is like going back to that last week episode, seeing Ahmed Best return to Star Wars and be a Jedi who saves Grogu during Order 66. Give me that episode. Why is this a 3-minute segment? It's like, I feel like I think the story of The Mandalorian has gotten bloated. It's gotten really far away from its origins. And when they were talking, remember when they were talking about this most recent episode, like Grief Karga attacked all these Mandalorians. I was in my head, I was like, when was this? I was like, and thinking back to season 1. And then you think about this season, the whole IG-11 trying to repair, like that went nowhere. Like,
yeah,
disjointed. Like, listen, I'm no
literally disjointed. Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a bummer, but listen, I still love Star Wars, and I spend most of my free time thinking about it, and most of my money on Star Wars things. So
yeah.
Sure.
I just, I whatever. We'll see. Now, before we wrap up here, Celebration. Do we think they're going to announce new movies?
I think their plan was to announce new movies, but I think they're just as confused as we are. And it seems like, there's that news came out that they, who was it? Damon Lindelof was kind of off of a project. And it almost feels like they're not sure what the next move is just as much as we're not. But that being said, yes, they're going to announce something. Whether it happens or not, they're going to announce a movie.
They're going to announce plans, is what I think. Not like an actual
this writer, Stephen Knight, was brought in for this project that no one knows what it is, to replace Damon Lindelof. Now, Stephen Knight, I guess he does that show Peaky Blinders. It's supposed to be great. I've never seen it. I know a lot of people love that show. British screenwriter and director. So kind of a big name. He wrote that movie Spencer. We saw that.
Okay.
Which was the
Princess Diana.
The Princess Di movie. So listen, whatever. They hire a lot of writers in Star Wars. Like, hey, I don't know if you guys are, speaking of pandemic, remember when they did that Disney Plus presentation back in 2020 and they announced like 25 Star Wars shows? Most of them have never happened and never will happen. So, having said that, I think they kind of have to announce a movie. Don't they?
They don't have to do anything. They've been doing a lot of shows, and I wouldn't put it past them to just be like, hey, here's 5 shows coming out next year.
Yeah,
but I would hope for a movie.
I mean, last year was all about There's no celebration next year. Last year was all about the Obi-Wan premiere, and then they had an Ahsoka teaser, and then they had a Mandalorian season 3 teaser, and they announced Skeleton Crew, and they had an Andor trailer. Like, now it's like, okay, Mandalorian's already out. There's gonna be an Ahsoka trailer, but they're gonna have to announce something.
We're also gonna get a trailer for whatever that is. What's the live action? There's a live action, the Sith show or whatever.
Oh, Acolyte. Yeah, the Acolyte.
We'll get a trailer for that because they've been filming that, and there's a bunch of photos out there from set of like a Jedi Wookiee and shit like that. Like I'm sure we'll see some sort of footage from that.
Right. I just feel like Star Wars still you need those benchmark tentpole movies. You just need
I agree.
You just can't.
You can't just do that.
Can't just not have Star Wars movies.
You can just take away lunch.
I'm like the most tiredest I've ever been in my life. I'm really looking forward to season 3 of I Think You Should Leave. Okay, so yeah, we'll depending on next week we will have Ghostbusters Radio Live on the YHS YouTube channel. So the date of that next episode will be the 6th of April, which will be the day before Star Wars Celebration gets rolling. So if if there's major breaking Star Wars news, we'll cover it on YHS. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe they'll, I talked to Ryan. I was like, listen, if they do announce a HasLab or something, maybe we'll do a bonus stream or something that weekend. But I've learned when it comes to Star Wars specifically to not get my hopes up.
Yeah.
But I do predict
expectations. Yeah.
I predict. Here's my official prediction, and then we'll everybody can predict something if they want. Then we can get the fuck out of here. Okay. Season 2 of Obi-Wan, I predict as an announcement. Did I say season 1? I meant season 2. No, redo season 1 of Obi-Wan.
You think they're gonna do it?
I mean, if they just said season 2 was just going to be Obi-Wan on his journey to learn the ways of the Force, and it's just him and Qui-Gon, I'd be so back in and excited.
Yeah.
I think we'll get announcement for season 2 of Obi-Wan. I think we will get an announcement of whatever the next Star Wars movie is. That will be in 2025. And, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. I think they're going to announce a sequel trilogy inspired show, possibly involving Daisy Ridley. That's what I guess.
I see you there. I see that.
I don't think they're going to bank on more movies with that sequel trilogy cast. I just don't see it, but I could totally see them wanting to continue Rey's story.
It would be cool if they continued Finn's and interwove the two.
Me too. I'm not sure that John Boyega wants anything to do with Star Wars.
Right. Okay. Right.
But I would be totally for it. Maybe we'd even get toys. You never know.
My wild prediction is that The Mandalorian is getting a big screen movie in some way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. They said they could all end in like some big crossover event. Like, listen, if they announced that Ahsoka and Mando and all that stuff was going to lead to like a new trilogy of Star Wars movies that takes place in that era, I wouldn't be against it. Do you think they're going to try to MCU the thing and make Thrawn a big bad guy that they all have to kind of... Like, the whole thing will end with Mando, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, whoever's in some of the other shows, kind of forming a team to defeat Thrawn.
Totally.
The Star Wars Avengers.
Infinity Stones.
Yeah, they can call them the Avengers, yeah.
The Star Wars Avengers. The Starvengers.
It's just the natural progression of Star Wars being owned by Disney and Marvel, and this is what's going to happen, yeah.
They bring in Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Rocket Raccoons in the next Star Wars movie.
All right. He's like...
I want to see him working with all the Babu Fricks. That would be great.
Oh, God. He's like, let me tell you what. This guy with the blue face, this is really who you're scared of? This blue face guy? Listen, I think... We know by the time the sequel trilogy comes around, like maybe there is going to be a trilogy that takes place in like I've long said, like, you need a saga. I want this. I get really excited. I would love to see a Mandalorian movie that starts off with the proper Star Wars logo and whatever, the Rise of Thrawn, episode 1. Like, just It's not
Yeah.
that hard to get me excited
into
about
that.
Star Wars, but it seems pretty easy to get me bummed out about it.
Hey, more than anything, I just feel like it's time to go back to Galaxy's Edge.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, dude.
I need a Ronto rap pronto.
You need a pronto rap.
I need a pronto rap.
I need a Ronto pronto.
Well, we're talking with a friend about doing a Disney day where I can't give out his name, but we
4 parks, 1 day.
He was like, dude, I was on the phone with him. He's like, how amazing would it be to do the Avatar ride,
Yes.
Rise of the Resistance, Guardians, and Tron in the same day? I was like, bring it on.
Sounds so tiresome, but
No,
I'll do
dude,
it.
that sounds like a fucking awesome, perfect day.
I'm gonna start taking Dramamine because
Okay.
Now you're gonna just build up on it.
right now I get a tolerance.
I think you're gonna just fall asleep. Oh no, that's Benadryl.
I'm gonna take Dramamine and be like, Abby, spin me around 100 times. We'll do a training video.
I want all of us to have never seen the second Avatar movie before we go on that ride.
I'm never gonna watch that movie.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
never
keep
gonna
it-
watch it. Yeah.
Cool, so it's gonna happen.
Also, the ride has nothing to do with the second movie, so
I know
What's
I
it
just want
called?
to say, I just want us to stay like cynical.
okay.
Stay cynical. Hey, a couple things before we end. We've had a couple people asking about things like t-shirts. So if you want a YHS or Toy Anxiety or YHS on Monster Island shirt, you can get them at belowthecollar.com/YHS podcast, adding some new designs. So once again, that's belowthecollar.com/YHS podcast. Obviously, we want you to be part of the YHS Patreon, patreon.com/yeshavesome. For as little as $5 a month, you get complete access to all of our audio and video bonus content, extreme toy anxiety, and the more Ghostbuster stuff that comes out, the more I have that urge to fucking talk about it. So the odds of me just getting on there with Jake and Abby every now and then and say, hey, we're going to talk about Ghostbusters for 30 minutes. You know, we'll speculate and, we have a lot of fun with all the bonus content, but I think the biggest thing is the second you sign up, you get access to our complete archive, like hundreds of episodes, audio, video. And we appreciate the support. It's the number one way to support us. If you want to support us and you like what we do, sign up for Patreon's the number one way. You also get complete access to the YHS Discord and the YHS exclusive Patreon Instagram. But it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well done, Craig.
Thank you. Well done, all of us, man. This is exciting, man. This is our 7th year of YHS. Feels like we're just getting started.
Yeah.
I always say that. Waiting for it to end. No. It's great. I love it. And we appreciate you being here. If you're listening on the audio feed, make sure that you leave a 5-star review in iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast. It appreciates over time. I appreciate it. You'll be worth money.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. It helps us get the word out. And also, last thing, if you're watching here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure you tune into our live streams.
Ring that bell.
Come on, ring that bell.
Ring it.
Sign up for Patreon.
Sing it.
The real song I'm singing is Jesus is the King. So I'm not going to sing that. It's like an old Christmas carol. You know what? I'll have to rewrite the words to that.
Was he a king? They always say he was the king, but was he a king?
Yeah, it's born for you and me. Yeah. King of Kings. King
That's
of
true.
Queens.
That's true.
You can't just say you're the king of kings.
That's what Triple H
Apparently you can
is.
say
What
anything.
are his credentials?
Hey, by the way,
Son of God.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yes. He's seen
What's
all
your
and the spinoff.
Hey, I would have not had sitting in the Hall H Sons of Anarchy panel on my 2022 bingo card. But we are going to be going back out to Comic-Con. Hey, it's WrestleMania weekend too, and I love WrestleMania.
Yes, I love it. I love wrestling.
We've been watching,
I love a parade.
we've been watching the WCW, the Monday Night Wars 10-part series on Peacock is awesome. If you have never watched it. And it was funny last night. They showed a clip of Michael Hayes. And Abby's like, who's this Joker? And I was like, oh, that's Michael Hayes.
I was like, he seems mad.
He is mad. He's the guy. You know that Michael Hayes, I've told this story on the podcast before. And I'm glad we brought this up because I almost forgot to bring it up. Did you know that one time Michael P.S. Hayes of the Freebirds, screamed bloody murder at me at my own place of work?
Which place of work was this?
So I was...
Wow. Tell me more.
No, I'm serious.
No, I know what happened, so I'm excited to hear.
I was 22 years old. I was working at Longhorn Steakhouse, and at the time, this is when Deep South Wrestling was like the farm system for WWE. So now they have like NXT and all that in Florida, but it used to be Deep South Wrestling in McDonough, Georgia, and I would go to the local matches, and it would be great because a lot of people came through Deep South that went on to be like big stars, like people like Matt Cardona and a lot more. So I used to go to the matches, and I loved wrestling, and I wanted to get involved somehow. Like wasn't going to try to be a wrestler, but I think I'd be a pretty good manager, but everybody thinks that. Maybe a referee. But they used to air it on local cable access, and this girl I went to high school with was like the lead sports reporter on the local cable access channel that aired Deep South Wrestling. So I reached out to her. I was like, hey, can I help? Are there internships? Can I just like be a part of this? And she was like, actually, we need help. It's not much, but like you could get involved. You could hand out flyers, help promote the shows and stuff like that. And I was really excited about it, like unbelievably excited. In fact, I went to meet her at the studio where they filmed everything. And I'll never forget, I knocked on the door, and Boogeyman, the wrestler, in full gear, no worms in his mouth, but full gear, answered the door, and he was like, "Arr," and I was like, oh. Anyways, long story short, I'm really excited about this because, like, in my mind, I was like, man, I'm gonna get in the wrestling.
You're basically just on a street team.
Yeah,
I was on a street team.
Yeah,
but I was gonna be tangentially working for WWE.
You could say that, yeah,
for free, by the way. So. Long story short, Michael Hayes was a regular at Longhorn. He used to come in all the time and, would be like getting drunk at whatever, 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, as one does.
As former wrestlers do.
As wrestlers do. And I never really talked to him more than like a head nod or a hi, but I was like, oh, you know what? This is my in. I was like, oh, I'm going to like tell him I'm going to maybe work for Deep South Wrestling. And he's going to be like, oh, that's cool. Do you have this is what I thought was going to be in my head. He's going to be like, do you have an interest in the business, son? And I was going to say, yes, there's so much to learn. And he was going to be like, be my protege. And then we would eat chicken tenders. It would be fucking awesome. Not what happened. I went up to him and I said, hey, Mr. Hayes. And he looked up. He said, what? I was like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, it's not going good already. And I was like, oh, I was like, I'm a big fan of you in WWE. And I just want to let you know, I might be doing some work with Deep South Wrestling. And this is, I swear to God, this is what happened. He goes, you're going to do fucking what? You think you're going to be in my business? You don't know fucking shit about the wrestling business. And I'm like, hey, I'm working. I have my uniform on. I have tables waiting on me. And he's like, you know what? You're a little piece of shit. You think you can walk into Vince McMahon's office and tell him anything about the wrestling? And I'm just like, who said anything about going to Vince McMahon's office? I'm going to hand out flyers for Deep South Wrestling. And he proceeded to scream and yell at me for 5 minutes straight. Mm-hmm. And then I said, okay.
Let me know if I can get you anything.
Dude, it was kind of like, it kind of shattered me. I was really bummed out after that.
Yeah. Now you understand why he's day drinking. Sucks. I'm sorry. Sorry it happened.
Well, listen, it's not like he was my hero by any means, but I was hoping for civilized conversation.
Right.
So, that's my Michael Hayes story.
Well, sometimes that's just not what happens. You get.
Don't meet your heroes, kid.
Yeah, who knows?
My heroes, the Freebirds. Listen, I like Michael Hayes. He maybe was having a bad day.
And look where you are now.
Look at you. Look at me now.
Doing great.
I own Deep South
and
Wrestling.
look where he is.
Same exact place.
Yes. Yes, literally at Longhorn.
He's at Longhorn right now.
He owns that Longhorn now.
They say if you go in at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, you could still see him there.
Still hear his screams.
Yeah, wrestlers, they're an interesting bunch of people. Anyways, this
fascinating stuff.
This was fun, guys. Happy,
I had a lot of fun chatting with
you.
y'all.
Be here. Abby, I'll give you the last word. What's going on?
Well, here's what I'll say. You said that you are kind of, we've been there doing this for 7 years as YHS Podcast, talking about Ghostbusters, and might be sick of it, but I say let's keep talking about it on into our afterlife, whatever that is, because I always want to be talking about it. It's the thing that brings me closest to you and to Jacob and to our other friends.
Until we answer the call and head to the afterlife, we'll all just be in the firehouse.
Hanging out in Hell's Kitchen.
I'm hell-bent to end this episode.
With Michael Hayes.
With Michael Hayes, who is alive again.
Yes. Okay. I like all sorts of sauces.
I don't like
different wrestler.
We're done?
We're
Is
done?
this over? All right, we're done.
Done.
Well, we're just naming every sequel to Ghostbusters except for the one which was 2. All right, bye.
Ghostbusters 2.